I'm going to let you take the lead on this last category. So take it away.
So with the clutch shooting, a lot of the times what ESPN or Fox or whatever would do is say LeBron James versus Michael Jordan, who's the better clutch shooter, and then they'll say with 10 seconds left on the clock, MJ is 8 for 15 and LeBron's 9 for 21 or something. It says, oh, LeBron James made more clutch shots or whatever. And a lot of people would take that and argue with it in a debate.
Yeah.
And what I like to do is, when did you make those shots? What were the circumstances with you making those shots? You could hit a game winner when you're up 2-0 in the series and you made it 3-0. All right, it's done.
Yeah.
Like, that's not as big of a shot as Dame Lillard hitting the game winner, game 7, first round, having to go to the next round. That's a do or die shot. You don't make it, you're done. You're going home. Like, to me, that's clutcher than the going up 3-0.
It's so crazy with Damian Lillard because you'd think with 2 of those on his resume, you'd think that he'd have more playoff success. It's a shame.
Yeah.
But continue.
Yeah, but still, like, would you agree that that's a much more, like, there's ranges to.
I also think, and this is something I know you're going to agree with me with because you've already brought this up, but this is where I completely agree with you. I think playoffs holds way more weight with this particular category than regular season. Because, like, I can think of some great LeBron and Jordan regular season buzzer beaters. Jordan had a bunch in 91 when we were looking at the 91 season. Yeah. LeBron's always the first one I think of is when Kevin Love throws him the full court pass and LeBron does the turnaround 3 and banks it in. It's fucking wild. Yeah. That was legendary. But I think from a playoff standpoint, it's more important for this category to look at the clutch shots done in the playoffs. So you have collected a beautiful list of all the clutch shots in both of their careers. Continue.
So I looked up clutch shots / free throws. And you're probably wondering, why are you looking up free throws? And this is strictly...
Ask George Hill!
Huh? I'm gonna be completely honest. This is strictly just to shit on Skip Bayless. Because I really hate that throughout his whole career, he said LeBron James is scared of the free throw line. Yeah. And I feel like this proves it. And it also just shows that situations matter and stuff. So what I did was I went through each of these guys' playoff logs, and I looked at any game that they won by 2 or 3 points.
Okay.
And it was strictly, 1, 2, or 3 points, or anything from 1 to 3, because that would obviously mean there's a chance of a buzzer beater or something happening. And you can, I kept it to 15 seconds. Like, the shots were made 15 seconds towards the end of the game.
Yeah.
And it had to be the final points of that game. So you might see shots where maybe MJ hit a shot when it was 14 seconds left on the clock. They went up and then they fouled Scotty, and then technically MJ hit the game-winning shot, but Scotty got fouled and stuff. So technically it didn't. So I didn't count anything like that.
Yeah,
I just went strictly.
You know Scotty's going to miss the free throws if you do that.
Yeah, facts. Which I actually did find that Scotty hit a game winner in one of the playoff games.
Thank God. Good for him. That one shot. Happy for him.
He was like 1 for like 57. So let's go. I'm gonna start off with LeBron James, and I'm gonna go from the beginning of his playoff career all the way to the end. LeBron James. The scenario here is he's facing the Washington Wizards, who he kind of develops like a little rivalry with them.
Yeah, we talked about it when we were looking at the legacy breakdown. It felt like in the first round he ended up against Washington a bunch.
Yeah, for sure. And so he hits a 4-foot jump shot with 5.2 seconds left on the shot clock.
Yeah.
I even gave you guys the dates if you want to look it up on April 28th, 2006. And this allowed him to go up 2-1 in the series. And in this case, I'm gonna, with every single shot he makes, I'm gonna explain what were the circumstances and what it brought up. So him going up 2-1 in the series, obviously, it helps swing the series. You know, it could change the. Maybe they weren't doing that well in the beginning of the series. He hits the shot. They go up. He does end up winning the series. So And interesting enough, he hits another game winner in the same series,
Yeah.
which is the very next one I have on the list. LeBron James makes a layup. You see, layups, I'm not like, I know they count, they're game winners, whatever, but that's just not the same. Like,
See,
and maybe it's my preference.
I think it's hard to get to the cup with 3 seconds to go. Like
I know, but like, it's my preference to see the jump shot go in. Like,
maybe a layup might for sure be technically easier. Not for me because I miss every layup I take. But if you if you're LeBron and the whole building, especially in 2006, everyone and their mother knows you have to get to the basket to make something.
Yeah.
I think that adds extra weight to something like that. But go ahead.
Yeah, no, for sure. And especially it being game 5.
Yeah.
So,
and this, no, but they're still doing 7-game series in 06.
Yeah. No, yeah, I know. But it being game 5, I don't know if you're a huge, like, true basketball historian, which you probably are if you're watching our channel. You typically, if you win game 5, that like you 60 or 70% of the time, that's the winner of the series.
Yeah, so it definitely matters. I agree.
Yeah, so that one definitely. So if we're doing weight on each of the game winners, I'm probably going to say that one weighs more than the one that he hit towards the beginning of the series.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, both are important, but that's just kind of how we're looking at it throughout his entire career and Jordan's career.
Right.
The next game winners in 2006. So throughout this, and this is why I started writing down the dates, because at first I wasn't. But then when I saw that he did this like back to back to back, then I was like, okay, this is actually pretty clutch, and no one talks about it. Yeah. So LeBron James, he shockingly goes to the free throw line against Detroit, and he hits 2 free throws, with 1.3 seconds left on the clock.
And that's not in overtime, right? That's not the game where. That's not.
No, that's not. That's not the. That's not the. That's not the 38 special.
I'll shut the fuck up. Keep 48
special. I got that one. Don't worry.
Yeah, I know. I just read it. I was like, let me shut the fuck up and let him keep going.
You're good. You're good. So LeBron hits. They go up and they tie the series 2-2, which is critical because if not, you go down 3-1, and typically that's like the end of a series.
Facts.
So that one is actually a clutch shot. Pretty, like, obviously they're all clutch shots, but that one to me was really, really clutch because it keeps his team into it. They still end up losing the series,
right?
But and this was in the second round, right? So
of 06.
Within 15, 17 day span, LeBron James had 3 very clutch moments, right? That's why I like to write the dates down, because I'm like, that's insane. Like, imagine watching it at that time and just watching it happen. You're thinking this guy's the clutchest guy in the world, you know?
Right?
So now we're fast forwarding because they're web.
So now we're going to 07, right?
Yep. Yeah. Now we're fast forwarding, going to 07, and LeBron James faces the New Jersey Nets at the time, right? The New Jersey.
Yep. They stay from 2.
Yeah, he hits 2 free throws to win with 10.3 seconds left on the clock.
Yeah.
And they go up 3-1 in the series. Obviously, you can understand why this is probably never talked about, especially by Skip Bayless. But it still shows he wasn't afraid to get to the free throw line, and he hit the shot, and it put him up 3-1 in the series. Obviously, that doesn't weigh nowhere near as much as anything else that we've talked about going since that moment.
Yeah. This was 06, 07, right?
Yep.
So I just wanted to see, because I know
you can go through his game log if you want.
No, what I wanted to do was look at the Nets as a defensive team, just for shits and giggles.
Oh, okay.
Before I said what I was going to say. Look at all these teams that made the playoffs that are defensive. Nets, it was that era. That's why I wanted to look at it, because it was that era of like defense fucking matters. You know what I mean? But go ahead.
So next one is his most famous, and that's the 48 special.
Arguably.
And I haven't done this for any other one, but this was very important because obviously this is just insane, and I don't think it's been done again in NBA history.
No.
Scored 25 points with the fourth quarter, 25 points straight of his team's fourth quarter and overtime points.
They were losing going into the fourth too.
Yeah.
Why?
And he ends up making a layup at the rim, which I give him that. You already scored your 48. You don't got to make the jump shot at this point. Come on, just get the layup and finish this shit off.
That was beautiful.
And he scores a layup at the rim. I think that was a buzzer beater too. Like it was a game-winning layup.
Yeah.
And it went up 3-2 in the series. He ends up obviously, beating the Pistons and then later going to the NBA Finals.
Right.
Which was very important.
Right.
So I think at this point that's his clutchest moment in 07. 100%.
Yeah.
2009.
Go ahead. Huh? So we're only halfway through this bitch with him.
Yeah.
God,
no, he has a lot. He has a lot. For sure.
It takes forever. Go ahead.
I have to. That was also in the Eastern Conference Finals against the Pistons.
Sure.
So that was by far his clutchest moment, and that was when he finally got to that Eastern Conference Finals.
Right.
Which is very telling and very interesting too.
Yeah.
So in 2009. He's down 1-0 against the Orlando Magic. I know this because I was watching it and I was rooting against them.
This to me might be his most famous early Cavs shot. Before he left the first time, I think this might be the most famous shot that he's known for from this era.
And you know why? It's because of it being a jump shot. Because it really should be the Pistons thing. Because the
more
Pistons
specifically a three.
Like Pistons had just came from 2 back-to-back finals, right? They went to and then so he's facing the defending Eastern Conference guys, and he goes in and just and is beating them single-handedly. To me, that should easily be his biggest thing. But I think obviously I remember arguing with a friend, and I know this always has to come to this, but I was arguing with a friend, and the guy they just like to trigger me or something because they go and say Kobe could never hit a 1 second shot.
Oh man, it's so hard to trigger you, man. It's just so difficult when you say things like that. Continue.
So I looked up when Kobe hit 2 in the same game. But yeah, so we just all right. But this is about LeBron James, not Kobe Bryant.
Keep it moving.
Yeah. So he hits the shot to tie it up 1-1 in the series, and the only win of that series. So to me, it was clutch, and it was probably what he was most known for, but it didn't lead to anything. It didn't that's what I'm talking about when it comes to clutch shots.
Right.
How clutch is that actually in the grand scheme of things?
Sure.
That to me still at this point in 09, that 07 Eastern Conference situation was his clutchest moment.
Yeah.
All right. Now we're going to 2013.
So he's on Miami.
Huh? Yeah, in Miami. Facing the Pacers, he has a layup buzzer beater to win Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals.
Right.
Which I think it was on Paul George too.
Yeah.
They end up winning that series, and they go forward. I think they win in 6, maybe, right? Or is that the 7-game series?
Not sure. It'll be on your screen.
If it is the 7-game series, because I can't remember right now, that I would say that is pretty clutch. Because if he don't win that game, if he don't make that buzzer beater, they might not win that series.
Maybe not.
You know,
and that was their biggest competition in the era.
Yeah, I think it might have been the 2014 that they had the 7-game series.
I think so too, because Paul George went crazy in Game 1, where he hit his own buzzer beater to send it to overtime. It's one of my favorite. It's one of my favorite games.
Man, I remember being a Paul George fan at that time.
Damn, shame on you.
Yeah, how things change. All right, 2015. This is one a lot of people know about. And still to this moment, I'm still having the 2007 moment as his most clutch, right?
Yeah. Can I set this one up though? Can I set this 2015 one up?
Yeah. So, I know you know this one for sure.
So Derrick Rose, I think that game before, right? It was Game 3.
Mm-hmm.
Hits the buzzer beater on the Cavs and does the whole stone face when he hits the buzzer beater. It'll be on your screen. That weird shit. I don't know why he had no reaction. Maybe because he was dead inside. I'm not quite sure. But his
knees were still hurting him.
Yeah, man. His ACLs were mad at him that day.
Yeah.
But Fucking then, very next game, they're still in Chicago, and LeBron hits the buzzer beater in the corner and does like the same reaction.
Yeah.
Just the same kind of like stone cold. Like at first he was going to be mad excited about it, and then once he remembered the game before, he was like mad stone face.
So the big thing about that shot was originally the coach who was fired right after this playoff run called LeBron James to pass to Kyrie for him to get the second shot.
David Blatt.
Yeah, David Blatt. And LeBron said, "Nah, fuck that. I want this shot."
There you go. Like a good old school 90s player.
Yeah, exactly. And
he's selfish.
So this shot ties the series 2-2. And they end up winning the series, I think, in 6. From this moment on, they don't lose another game.
Right.
And this is in the second round. That's pretty clutch. Definitely one of his big. I'd probably say that's probably his second clutchest moment at that point. This one is something that I find very interesting that it's never remembered.
I forgot about this, but when you wrote it out, when I was looking at this sheet last night of all these written down, I was like, oh yeah, he did do that.
With the Warriors, you saying?
Yeah. Versus this is the very first meeting, right?
Yeah, very first time. Kyrie, the game before, finds out that did he tear his ACL or
something with his
knee injury.
Yeah, but he left after game 1.
Yeah, so I think he might have had a fracture actually. So after game 1, LeBron James finds out I'm kind of done. Kevin Love he already had a dislocated shoulder.
Yeah, from the fucking Kelly Olynyk.
Not the second round. It was the third round, I think. Yeah. So he figures out that he's by himself against the Warriors. They somehow, and I'm sure they were super underdogs going in, which this is all probably the NBA and Vegas kind of working together. Get LeBron James to win, get some money into Vegas, but whatever.
Here we go.
Yeah, I gotta go with my conspiracy while I'm telling you. But LeBron James finds a way to, in Oracle, squeak out the win with 2 free throws with 4 seconds left on the clock after Kyrie is gone.
Yeah.
He then goes up 2-1 in the series in the Cavs, and then that's when the Warriors figure out the Iguodala thing, and then they don't win a game after that. But he puts them in a position where they possibly could have beat this Warriors team without Kevin Love and Kyrie. I think that was a clutch moment. Definitely his clutchest free throw moments.
It was the moment when everybody thought, shit, is LeBron going to beat this Warriors team by himself? That was a legitimate thought.
If he did that, that would have been some GOAT shit, though.
There was a that was a thing when he was up 2-1 on them. That was a legitimate thing being talked about.
Yeah, yeah. And I remember rooting against him, and I was thinking, this nigga, like, what the fuck? I was like, why can't you die?
Be better than I thought.
Fall, you bastard. I was so happy when they figured out the Iguodala thing. I was like, what the fuck? All right. 2018. This is my favorite.
This is easily my favorite buzzer beater of his career.
Yeah. So.
Oh, actually, no, it's not. This is my second favorite one. The next one is my favorite. Continue.
Yeah, mine too. I agree. The Pacers buzzer beater. He hits a 3 on. I remember he hits it on Oladipo.
Yep.
And Oladipo asks how he did that afterwards. Do you remember that?
No, I don't.
No, like that was like a thing after the fact that he was like Oladipo was sunned so badly. Like I don't know, but then he it was the weirdest thing. I'd never seen a player who just lost in that fashion be such a son to a father. So and this was like literally the month of LeBron James sunning people, because you'll find out in a second.
Oh, yeah.
So this was on this, not even the month. Oh damn, I didn't write down the date for Toronto. Damn, whatever. But this was this buzzer beater is going to be when LeBron takes over the city, and he's now
LeBron. And on Wikipedia they immediately change it after. So case in point, they're already up 2-0. LeBron is hitting post fades in everyone's mouth, just absolutely butt fucking the entire Toronto city and organization. Just putting his cock right into DeMar DeRozan's mouth and asshole. And
then, this shit is that big where it's coming out.
Fully gaped. on DeMar DeRozan. So Gabe that he had to leave Toronto. Anyways, this third game is close. Usually in playoff series, when you watch NBA playoff series and how they go, typically if you're getting beat up the first two games, the third game is when the team that's losing brings the most fight.
Yeah, facts.
And they did. The Raptors did bring the fight to the Cavs. The full game, and then the last possession when I can't remember if it was Siakam or somebody hitting a shot. They don't even take the ball at half court. LeBron wants the ball. LeBron and and Ty Lue want the ball all the way on the other side of the court. So LeBron can take it, jog all the way down the court, and then take a one-handed and one-footed floater off the backboard for the game winner. When that happened, Wikipedia changed the city of Toronto to being owned by LeBron James. LeBronto was born right there in that moment.
Yeah, fact. And Russell explained this when we went through LeBron's legacy breakdown, but this was at the time the most Jordan-esque LeBrons ever. But they were also treated like I just told you, Oladipo literally acted like LeBron James' son.
Yeah.
And then, in the freaking, while they were losing game after game, Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan were in the freaking meetings saying, how do you expect us to beat this guy? Mind you, Kyrie was gone, and you just had a shitty Kevin Love. So he was very beatable at the time. He just won 7 games with the Pacers, and they were just like, we can't beat this guy. I don't know how you expect us to. Legitimate. This is not even me gassing it or anything. You could go back to these interviews and see DeMar DeRozan saying shit like that. And I was just,
it's already been on your screen.
And I remember being at my old job and talking to my boss and saying after, because he was thinking, oh, maybe Toronto could, because Toronto I think was the number 1 seed, right? So he was like, maybe Toronto could be. I was like, I guarantee you, Toronto is gonna get their ass whooped by LeBron. And he thought he had faith, and I was like, literally, LeBron James owns them. And then he just did what he did, and so those were all of LeBron James game winners, buzzer beaters, free throws, everything throughout his playoff career. Obviously, they were great. I still think the 07 is probably holds up as the most valuable. I think if you're
valuable, if you're gonna rank them from clutch, the most clutch and the most significant, you would say that one. I think that game was his on the mat moment. Yeah. Right? Yeah. We've talked about that. There's an episode way back in our archives where we looked at on the mat moments after Luka hit that buzzer beater on Lindsay's Clippers. And I will take any opportunity to bring that up. And I just think that
he opened my eyes.
You guys are fucked up. Can I just say that? I'm sitting here quietly minding my own business, and there have been so many pot shots at typically when a team's up 3-1, they don't lose. Or back when Paul George was good.
I was talking about the Warriors. That's hilarious.
Back when Paul George was good and I rooted for him, but now he's on the Clippers and he just sucks donkey dick. Sure, just keep on stabbing holes in me, all right? Just keep going. I'm gonna be looking like fucking SpongeBob soon.
The holes in shoebox. I got an animal inside. All right.
So, well, no, you're good. So let's go to MJ. Let's look at MJ's playoff shot.
Yeah. So would you agree? Do you think that was, if you had to rank value of the shot?
Yeah.
You think that
I think that one's the most significant. I think the Toronto 2018 would be second for the thing you were talking about with the Jordan effect. That's the closest LeBron's looked like MJ and been treated like MJ.
Yeah, for sure.
Because there was universal love for him after he beat Toronto for whatever reason.
Yeah. And it's because everyone knew what he had to work with and how he was getting.
Because he was such an underdog.
Yeah. That, it was a light East, but it was still how the hell is him by himself pretty much doing this? You know what I mean?
And that goes back to the 40% of your team's points thing. He absolutely had to do that during that series or during that period of time. And whether people realize it or not, they associate like being the underdog and like coming up from behind as one guy in your team scoring all the points, and that means it's unlikely that you're to win.
But he was also like averaging like 9 rebounds and 9 assists, I think, during that. Like he was dead ass doing everything.
Yeah, it was like 35, 9, and 9. It's like ridiculous.
Yeah, it was crazy.
All right, let's go to Jordan.